Thanks for listening, and buckets up.
Yo, what up? My name is Jump.
Yo, it's Kairos on the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
BC Underground Hip Hop.
BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
Along with your host,
my man's Lil Bukkit.
Lil Bukkit, what's up?
Go to thegentleherb.com. Use discount code BUCKETSEASON. That is 6 letters, BKTSZN, at thegentleherb.com. Discount code BUCKETSEASON. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Lil Bukkit, and I'm back with the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast. Today we got a special guest with us. You want to introduce yourself? Let everybody know where to get at you on your socials.
Yo, my name is Lexxx Lucifer. You can get me on Facebook, Lexxx Lucifer. On Instagram, it's LE666 Lucifer. I don't really use Twitter much or any other handles, so that's pretty much all I can remember.
That's good. That's all
Should
you
have
need,
wrote
bro.
some shit down, but I mean, I can't even remember my Twitter password, bro.
No shit. All right. Well, I just want to quickly, before we get into the whole podcast, talk a little bit about the fights last night. You watched that shit, man?
Buddy, I'm a huge MMA fan. But besides hip hop,
Yeah.
I was in MMA. I fought in MMA when I was 16. I lost. I would never do it again. Got choked out. But I love martial arts. My dad was a Western Canadian kickboxing champ.
Oh, shit.
So it's in the blood. I love it. So when it comes to that, man, I could talk about that as much as I talk about music.
Yeah, so you definitely watched the fights. I mean, I'm sure we got a ton of MMA fans in here that won't mind having this conversation on the podcast first. We're just talking a little bit about Conor McGregor and Donald Cerrone last night, and the whole card I thought was actually pretty good. There was quite a bit of wrestling going on, but some good submissions.
I missed a lot of the fights because I was out doing an FUL meeting. Shout out to FUL and everybody on it.
Yeah.
I smoked John Miller. So I missed a lot of the prelims. I got home in time, and I think I caught the last 3 fights.
So you saw Holly Holm and Raquel Pennington.
Yeah.
Bro, that was rough. I don't know what the ref was doing.
Disappointed as a fight fan, but maybe Holly Holm's just trying to keep herself in.
Yeah, the longevity, you can see that for sure. Well, she's not getting any younger.
Holding her
Not
up
that
against
she's old.
the cage like that was just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. The ref. Like, what are you fucking doing, man?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the post-fight conference, and somebody asked Dana White about it, and I was actually kind of surprised that he was going to go after a ref again, and he didn't really, like, usually he'll just destroy refs, and then
if they're fucking up, exactly.
He'll call them out, but it's kind of like beating the dog at this point with him. So it's like he tries to stay away from that, but he didn't hold back last night. He's like, he's a nice enough guy. He's like, I usually don't want to try and do this, but what the fuck was the ref doing? Like,
exactly.
They're holding each other for 4 minutes for 3 rounds, and
you know what?
They fought for a minute.
Just like a fighter too. Everyone has a bad night.
Yeah.
He's an amazing ref, and he's usually on point. You land a shot, and he can see you're rocked. Like, he's trained. He has that eye. But last night, it was just like, what are you fucking doing?
I guess you didn't catch it. Drew Dober, he won with a crazy knockout, and he actually ended up hitting the guy a little too much. He had to, right? You got to keep fighting, but the ref didn't stop it soon enough.
Hey, man, you're in the fighting world, and once you got to get that ref to stop you. Conor McGregor was talking about that in his post-fight interview. He was like, I wanted it to be one hit where I hit him and the ref, I could step back. And it's like, why are you even thinking like that, Conor? You should be going for kill. Just like Usman, or not Usman, what's his face did the freaking, that wrestler guy. Fuck, I can't even remember their names. Remember when he did the flying knee? Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Body. And then he came down and he's like, bang.
You got to keep finishing. You got to finish it until the ref pulls you off.
100%. Hey, I tell you, man, I used to be so good with people's names in the UFC and stuff now, but I've changed a lot to where I don't watch like I used to either.
I know, man. It's honestly, it's like ever since UFC the almost 200 era, it's been kind of just like they really incorporate a lot more fighters these days too. There's
For
more
sure.
names on the card that haven't been in the UFC for so long. There's newer guys. And I mean, I remember when I used to watch, the new guys were easy to pick out. You could be,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's never fought in the UFC yet.
You can tell exactly.
But now there's 100 of them.
I know.
And there's so many cards.
And then we got Bellator. We got.
And there's so many. Yeah, so many. MMA has really just risen in popularity over the past years.
All fairness, man, it's amazing to see. Like I said, it's one of my main loves, but at the same time, I just can't keep. I'm getting a little older, man. I can't fucking sit at home watching all these fights.
I feel you. But that Connor knockout last night with Donald, that was really unexpected. A lot of people thought that it was going to go maybe to decision, or Connor had been out for 2 years. You expect ring rust.
100%. Hey,
Nothing.
But you remember Nick Diaz Nate Diaz, when he was out for about a year, he came back and he just totally killed it. And he was like, you know what? I kind of needed to let my body rest.
And you know, Connor was saying,
come back a little fresher.
Connor was saying number 3 is right around the corner if Nate wants it, because Nate was eyeing up the possibility of fighting Connor. And at the post fight conference, Connor was saying, "Yeah, Nathan, let's do it. I'm right here." So
I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight to see again.
Definitely. You know, Nate's one of my favorite fighters too, and so is Connor. And when they start,
Nate's made the money now, so it's like
I think
not a lot of fights are interesting to him because he doesn't need to take them. So it's like what's going to bring Nate back, because he's got $3 million in his bank. Like who's he gonna fight? Yeah, and exactly. Connor makes sense because there's more than money in that fight. That's
for sure. Hey man, you look at his last fight with freaking Khabib there. He was in that kind of era too, you know. He even said it on his press conference. He's like, I needed to get back to loving fighting.
Yeah, because he was so caught up in the fame and everything going to his head and having the just being caught up in everything.
Everyone needs to humble themselves sometimes.
Yeah, forgetting to be humble. And really, it's cool seeing the Connor that was back last night, because he didn't just finish the fight and then it was over. He was like super, super nice to Donald about it. Like very great sportsmanship.
There was, I'd really like to see that with him and Khabib, but there's just
it's
so
not
much
happen.
Bad blood there.
It won't happen. They hate each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But
he was giving him some respect on his style and stuff like that in the press conference, but he was still throwing a few jabs.
Yeah, and somebody was asking about them fighting in Moscow, but Dana said it's not going to happen. I think that's probably for the best interest of the Connor's safety, because like Khabib's got people that hate him and people that love him in Russia, but Connor's got people that they like him and they support him, but there's also people that will fucking kill him.
100%.
Right.
Hey, they're very prideful people, and it's why you got to watch what you say to certain people, man.
Yeah.
You remember who you're going at and pick your fights, or you pick your fight with the wrong fucking person, you're done.
I think it's a dangerous territory for him, and Dana really wants it to happen in Vegas. Either way, that fight's happening. Connor and Khabib are definitely fighting.
I can't imagine if he does go for the 170 belt and had 3 belts. I mean, not at the same time, obviously, like he did with the 2.
Hey, what do you think of those shoulder strikes?
Buddy, okay, it's a boxing technique, but I've never seen, and I see it in the UFC a lot.
It's a dirty boxing technique.
For sure it is. But to break a nose like that, that was awesome. It was awesome. It's like he landed a punch.
Yeah, it was wild. And then that kick, super technical, right on the chin, right on the jaw, even put him to sleep.
Connor's a chess player, he really is. And if that's why you see when he lost Nate Diaz, he came back and won.
Yeah,
because he put the pieces together. So with that type of drive, I would love to see him fight Khabib. Khabib's an animal, man. The guy wrestled bears as kids.
I don't think he's gonna win against Khabib, man.
I don't either.
As much as I'd like to see it,
for sure,
I don't see it happening. Khabib's just he's a force.
He is
unstoppable.
No, There's something about him. It's just like Connor. You know, there's something about Connor. They both have just amazing talent. Connor was saying even last night, he's like, you know, it's really about putting everything together and blah, blah, blah. No, man, you are extremely. Some people have it, some don't.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple.
Well, he did say, you know, he just came in and put the work together, and he did it. He says anyone can do this. If you just come in and put the work in, you will get there. But at the same time, you got to be really talented, really gifted, and
exactly.
He's lucky that he is, because
you can't be one-dimensional anymore.
There is certain work loads that people can get through with gifts. For
sure, 100%. Some people are naturally talented. Like when it comes to hip hop, I have a buddy. He's just got such a photographic memory, and
it's crazy, right?
Stuff he said like years ago at a party when he was pissed drunk, and he'll bring up this rhyme scheme, and I'm like, I remember that. How do you even remember that? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
Shout out to Atomic, Luke Libman. He's actually, you know, a big part of why I got into hip hop.
That's what's up. Yeah, let's actually get back into the podcast now. My first question, you obviously what I like to ask all my guests, how'd you get into rapping and what got you started writing?
Like a lot of kids when they were younger, when I was 14, I was running around, I was writing rhymes, and a really good buddy of mine, shout out to Prince from Seattle, he moved out here, and me and him clicked on liking the same. It's when I was listening to Wu-Tang and, you know, Too Short, Ice Cube and all that before, but he brought out Brother Lynch Hung.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
He's gutter as fuck.
Like, one of the dopest, man, especially back then. And he's an artist. And that's when I started to look at more artists in hip hop that were creating their own lane and have a style. Like you could be the dopest. I'm not a huge Biggie fan. I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan, but I do respect their talents and everything. But a lot of it has to do with different voices too. If you have a really unique voice, a really unique style, you come in and you just kill it. I'm like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah.
I think people overlook that sometimes. And you know, back to when I started really writing when I was in my 20s. My dad got really sick, and I just started writing poetry. Don't even laugh at me, everybody. That's what we're doing here is poetry, motherfuckers. But you know, it got me out of that zone where I was worrying about my dad all the time before he passed, and I just started writing. And then I met Luke Atomic, and you know, he's throwing bars all the time and just so incredibly naturally talented. And I get back to writing, and I'm like, check this out. And I'm trying to write bars for him. And every time he's like, bro, I write my own stuff. He's like, you are an amazing writer. Start rapping.
Yeah.
So for about, I'd say 4 years when I was, because I started rapping like late. Like I said, when I was 14, I did it. But I started rapping when I was probably like 29, 30. So
really?
I've really only done it. And I'm 38 now. So I've you know, and I started finding my zone in it and practice. It's what I tell everyone, man. I've had so many people hit me up and they're like, you know, hey man, can you help me out in this area? I'm like, you got to practice, right? Practice. When you're done doing that, practice. Go look in the mirror. Practice.
Keep practicing.
Practice in front of people. Practice,
definitely. You got to practice on stage.
Yes, 100%. You got to find I have a really high anxiety issue. And even before talking with you, my anxieties were up to the roof. Now that we're talking, I'm great. You know, so when I'm performing, I get in people's faces. I like to be on the floor, right in front of your face, and bring that energy. And that gets me over my anxieties, and I don't have to think about it. If I'm standing on the stage looking down at you, it's like, oh, I start sweating. You know, I'm not focused.
Totally. Now, you did mention unique voices. That's something I want to ask you about. Your rap voice sounds nothing like your speaking voice.
Oh, for sure.
Where'd you come up with that style, and how did you create that?
Well, like Lexxx Lucifer came from the Devil's Poet. Because
Okay.
before I was just writing dark poetry, this and
Really?
that, and it had to fit my name. And, me and Luke made the Injustice League. And that's, kind of the first group I got into.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be involved so much with what he was doing because I looked up to the dude and still do. I want to get him into rapping a little bit more too. But life gets in front of the way sometimes. But
It
hopefully,
does.
So I'm like, okay, in Justice League, how can I incorporate the Devil's Poet with something that's superhero affiliated? So I'm like, it came to me. It was just like, boom, Lexxx Lucifer. And I was like, fuck yeah. And I ran with it. Then I started, like I was writing 16s here and there and writing 4-bar, 8-bar, this and that. What I started getting good at was songwriting and song structuring. So the first song I ever did was called Devil's Dust. Check it out on YouTube. You can hear, like, I do incorporate the style sometimes, but it's, I go really down, really deep, blah, da, 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 da. And then when I started to get, which that song, the way it's structured and everything, it fits it. And it's really, I loved it. And I love the chorus, everything. But then as I started to rap more, I, started getting into my, just stuff like that. And I wanted to be in your face. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to be in your face more than, hey, this is da da da, ba da 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 da. No, I wanted to be da 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 da,
So you got the energy.
Just that energy.
Yeah.
Exactly. People try and say all the time, even a dude, I was just showing this dude the other day, because I'm going to enter that Young Stitch Killiverse contest. And I wanted somebody outside of my circle to give their opinion. And I threw him it because I had already seen his, and I was like, I respect the dude. And I'm like, hey, man, you're dope. I'm like, can I get an opinion? Blah, blah, blah. He heard it. He's like, holy fuck. But you sound like Madchild, bro. And I'm like,
shit.
I do it. I get it all the time. And it's like, man, that grimy style, Snack the Ripper and Madchild, like there was grimy rappers rapping like kind of like me way before. And I don't sound nothing like either of them. You could say a cadence style sometimes, because I'm not trying to do what a lot of fucking rappers nowadays are doing, is fast rapping. I'm just trying to give you some stuff, right? Some poetic stuff and punches and storytelling right to your face.
Substance. Exactly.
100%. And it's, when it comes to that, it's got to be catchy. It's got to have that catchy hook. It's got to have those bars. A lot of people don't know how to structure a song. And you'll hear an anchor verse on the first verse, and you're just like, why'd you go so hard on your first verse? And then the second verse, I'm turning it off.
Yeah, no, structure is really, it's something, a lot of people, you got to recognize, like a lot of people that start rapping, they don't consider the poetic structure of writing songs. They don't consider the musical concept behind it, and they just kind of get into like rapping, because you can really just rap without being a musician. There are rappers out there that aren't musicians. They're just vocalists.
For sure. For sure.
And being a vocalist is so much more than being just a rapper, because like a vocalist is a musician, right? Exactly. Vocalists are singers, and they understand so much more about poetic structure.
Yeah, and that's why I even do the voice. I want to stand out. I don't want to just get behind the mic and sound like some generic rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted something creative. And there's some stuff I'll dabble in. I'm still building myself as an artist too. And that's another thing is most artists got to do. You still got to develop. I'll fuck around with those fast flows and stuff like that, little double time or fast rapping. I'll fuck around with it, and you'll hear some of that stuff from me in the future, but I got my lane.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. You got your own lane for sure. What would you say that your message is in your music? Like what are you trying to portray with Lexxx Lucifer? Does the Injustice League kind of like superhero thing?
It's, I'm trying to show the bad side and the good side and everything and the evil that men do. And I'm trying to give it out in a positive way, because like Fresh Smoke, he'll be like, man, you got these bars about doing cocaine and stuff when you were, party lots when I was younger. I've never been addicted to anything, but I've dabbled here and there. I've had fun. And he's like, well, you're going to get people thinking you're doing this all the time. And I'm like, well, then they're not listening to my music, because I throw a lot of stuff in there and tell people, I'm like, don't do what I did. Don't go this thing. But at the same time, I'll start talking about some funny ass shit I did when I was high on ecstasy or something. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah, you're not going to shy away from the fact that it happened.
It's me. I'm trying to give people me. You know, so I'm going to talk about all that stuff in my head. Like, I got this one party with song with Cynical Minds called Life of the Party. Now, you listen to that, I've done everything in that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest things is conceptual songs. I love the punchlines. I love the metaphors. I love this and that. But I'll incorporate that into some storytelling as well.
I feel you.
And yeah, so I'm just trying to give people me, but in an artistic way.
Okay. Now, if there was one song that you had that, like, if there was one song that everybody that you ever talked to could hear from you, what's the one song that you'd rather them hear?
Okay. I got this one track that I really, really love, and it's when I was using YouTube beats and stuff like that. I think a lot of us start out doing that and stuff. And
hey, man, you got to practice.
Your own lane. You start to get your practicing, exactly. And it's called Ego Tripping. And what I do is I break down a lot of the egos in hip hop, and I talk about it, because this is the most ego. I was talking to some dude on the Young Stitch thing the other day, and he's saying about, you know, this and that. And I'm just like, hey, you know, hip hop is the most ego-driven, opinion-driven music that's ever come about. So you're going to have, even if you're good at your craft, you're going to have people coming at you because they want to outdo you.
Yeah, definitely there are going to be.
So when it comes to ego tripping, I was trying to, you know, I hope it brings some humility to people when they listen to it. But at the same time, I talk about it, I'm like, I understand it. I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to outbar you too. I love battle rapping. I'm not into dissing. I love to, and I will. If someone comes at me, I'll throw you some fucking bars, no problem. I'll spar with you. But I would rather spar with you if you're a dope MC on a track.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I have no reason to go into that negative lane of trying to pick at you and fucking call you out for, you know, why the fuck would I even want to go out there and research another dude that much?
Yeah, well, I feel you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why would you even waste your time? That's
exactly.
I think that's where a lot of the competition comes in. And when guys are doing the diss tracks and the beef, you see a lot of like I love it too. I don't know if I would call it respect, but mutual. It's like a mutual understanding that, okay, this guy, he's on my level. I can like, if he's not, I'm not going to respond.
100%.
Right? That's where you say, okay, well, there's no point in wasting my time. I'm not gonna. Yeah, what am I going to put my energy into this and waste a verse on you? But then there's some guys, you know, like JML, when he does his diss track season thing.
Buddy is a beast.
And
man.
the thing is, like, they're constructed so well, these disses, and they're so quickly thrown out.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he doesn't waste his time on it. He'll do it in an afternoon, in an hour, write it up, record it, throw it out, mix it, and then it's done. And we've got some guys spending a week on a diss track, and then
for sure. But that's where you get me to, is everyone's trying to put a timeline to stuff nowadays, and it's like some people don't have the same outlets you do.
Yeah.
So if you can get something done really quick, it's cool. But to me, it doesn't matter when the disc comes out. It's who has the hardest bars and who went at each other. That's the winner to me. I don't care if you take a month to respond to JML. If you come hard at him and you kill him, I'm giving you your props. Now, I give him his props because he's such a humble dude. The way he does it, you can tell. Like you were saying, gets it done in like a day or two and fucking murders it. But he's such a nice dude. He really is. And that's why everyone loves him. And that's why I could do nothing but love. I met him and Known, the Boombox Radio Show. Shout out to the Boombox Radio Show, RZ. Albert Reinstein,
motherfucking legend in this scene.
And what he did bring me involved, that was it was amazing. I love this, you know, and that's why I'm focusing a lot of my time to music, period. I just recently quit smoking weed. First time I've ever done it since I was 13 years old. I'm fucking 38 years old. And I tell you, and I did it around New Year's, but I did it right after Christmas. I'm one of those people where if I wake up one day and I ain't feeling it, I'm done. I cut it out. I don't do that New Year's resolution bullshit because everyone just goes back into that same mind state. Once I fucking hit that wall, I'm fucking done. And I tell you, it's only been a month. My memory, taking vitamins and eating a little healthier too is a big thing too.
You got some of that ginkgo biloba.
Yeah. Yeah. Omegas, fucking those big fucking huge pills, and fuck the energy. I got no anxieties. My depression is because, hey man, weed and alcohol is a depressant. People say that, there's certain strains and stuff that help, and they do. And I believe in CBD for helping stuff like that. But for me, just for me, it didn't matter if I smoked sativa. It didn't matter if I smoked indica. I would still get really high anxieties, and I'd eat at my brain. I'm just always going. Now that I'm always going, but it's in a positive manner, I'm just fucking writing and writing and writing. And I love it. I love being in this zone, and I'm going to stay on this high.
That's good. I think marijuana it's not necessarily, like, cannabis isn't necessarily for everybody. It's
for sure.
Sometimes, some people need it early in life, and they have, I'm one of those people where I had it. I've been using it since I was 11, and I think I've gone a month without using it. When I was like 13, I took a break, and I didn't want to. That whole month, I hated it.
You stay productive and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that. I come home, and I usually was just like the song, as a midnight toker, man. I'd come home, I get my day done, stuff like that, and I'd get just ripped until I could sleep. That's another thing, is I'm having a problem sleeping. I hear CBD helps with the sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that out because, like I said, I know that doesn't get you high.
You ever tried sleeping with music?
Yeah, I'm one of those people where, like, if there's a sound in the room,
yeah,
I love that. Like, if my fan's going, because I have my fan on my face all the time. If I hear the fridge going, and it's like you hear that,
yeah, the background
and then
noise.
it stops. I'm like,
yeah, this silence kind of bugs you.
Oh, big time, big time. So I don't listen to music too much to go to sleep, because then I'm listening to what you're saying, and you'll get me going.
I got something for you. There's these guitarists. They only put out instrumental music, and if you listen to like some of their more calmer guitar music, it's just like, hitting notes, and it's soft. You can put it on quiet in the background, and then that's how I used to sleep when I was like a teenager. I couldn't sleep without it. I used to always have to have music playing.
I could try that. I could never do hip hop. It's just the energy.
No, music therapy. Music therapy's got to be like a specific. If you're going to use it for that, it's got to be a specific type. And
for sure,
words are not good because you comprehend them. You're sitting there thinking about this stuff, right? If it's just like kind of melodies and notes and stuff.
No, you know what? I can see I'll try that out. And I don't give a fuck. I'll go right to that classical music. Some nice mellow piano.
That's a great idea, man. I love classical music.
For sure, I love all music.
That's a good way to be, bro.
There's certain, like, I'm not big on country and stuff like that, but do I respect it? 100%. I'm not big on techno. My thing with techno and like it's an unfinished song to me. I mean, I guess you could say that about classical music, but that just mellows me out. So I have no problem listening to that. With techno, you gotta boom, boom, boom. I love a lot of UK rap.
How about beatboxing?
Beatboxing?
Yeah. You ever been into that at all?
I love it. No,
watching it or anything?
I love every aspect of hip hop, because it's not just about the music. It's about a culture. And I was very street based growing up.
I find it really interesting that a lot of people think of beatbox or think of hip hop when they hear beatboxing, because in the beatbox community, they make mostly electronic music.
100%.
Like, if you check out the beatbox champions or the championships across the world,
I check a lot of that stuff.
You never hear hip hop music in that stuff. Like, you never hear it. It's mostly. That's why
I love when Rozelle will do that, right? And somebody will rap or he'll rap on it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's cool. It's really cool to see that that beatboxing has had such a big transition in their genre.
Oh, 100%. Fucking right.
Because it started in beatbox, or it started in hip hop, right? But
Exactly.
their community, if you watch it, it doesn't revolve around hip hop much whatsoever. And when you hear someone beatboxing for a hip hop song, it's really repetitive. Like they don't
Yeah.
make like a beat like you would hear nowadays that someone made with a synthesizer.
But then you hear some of these dudes that are coming out the woodwork, and you're like,
beat pad.
how do you even make those fucking noises, bro?
No, crazy. Yeah, some of it is nuts. And you think if producers these days kind of capitalized a little more on the I guess like the broad sounds that you can make with beatboxing, it'd be cool to see them make a beat pad out of so with a microphone. I'm
You
not
know
sure
what?
exactly how that all works
Something
because I'm not
I've
so technical, but you understand
something
what I'm
I've
saying.
wanted to do, and I know a lot of people have thought about it. It's not like a new idea or anything. Is recording just a bunch of sounds,
Yeah.
and then putting it together as a beat, and then rapping over it.
So how the fuck do you do that shit though?
I mean, like think about it. You could take a fucking 2 spoons, get in front of the mic, and get ting ting.
Yeah, I know you can, but definitely, have you ever opened up Fruity Loops?
What?
Have you ever
Fruity
opened?
Loops?
Yeah, have you ever opened that program?
When it comes to the technical side, and fucking John Miller, Fresh Smoke will always be on my ass, and I'm like, hey, bro,
You know
why
what?
don't you start
That's the
rapping?
thing. I think like one of those guys could teach us how to bring a microphone to a program and upload our sounds to something like Fruity Loops or another beat making program.
For sure. I would
Because
love to experiment that way. I just don't got the time,
right,
Like
you don't
we're
think you
all
do, but
pressed for time.
if you go to a studio and you're sitting with an engineer, the guy knows how to do it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
while you're spitting your verses, I mean, you can be like, hey, do you know how to do this? And teach me quickly 5 minutes. What's up with it? It can be a quick conversation.
I'll probably start learning a little bit more of that because my memory, like I was saying, is coming back so much. Because I catch a lot of it, and John Miller will explain certain things, and I understand it, but at the same time, a lot of it, it's like in one ear and out the other because I'm like, duh.
Not paying attention. Yeah, no, it's definitely something you got to pay attention to and
For
try to
sure.
remember.
No, for sure.
And I think repetition has a lot to do with that. Going back to what you were saying earlier, practice is really important.
Practice, 100%, man. I
And
can't stress that, to everyone coming up, man. No matter what your craft is, no matter what your craft is.
one thing I want to point out before we take off about practice is it's really important to make sure you go out, you do the shows, you go on stage, you're there practicing out in public, because there will be tons of artists who are super talented. I remember growing up with kids in Kamloops who, like, they were so good on the microphone, way better artists than I have ever been. And
Yeah.
I got so much more recognition simply because I started on a stage. My first show, I had been rapping for 2 weeks. My first battle, I'd been rapping for a month and a half.
Fuck, buddy.
I
That's awesome.
I learned how to rap through doing it.
Hey, man, like people like Necro and stuff talk about it, and he's like, the real people that are rapping teach themselves.
Yeah.
What I did was I was around such talented people like Atomic, AJ Millie, and the you want to keep up to them. So if I got somebody in front of me that's a fucking lyrical beast, I'm gonna show that I can at least stand with him. Now, I might not be able to fucking outbar you all the time, but there's sometimes, like, even Luke will be like, holy fuck, where did this come from? And I'm like, man, more is coming, because I'm getting better and better and always evolving.
That's what's up. You got any projects that you recently dropped? Anything you want people to go check out?
Life of the Party is off Fresh Smoke's album coming out. The Dabatory, which has got some amazing Canadian artists, a few American artists as well, but it's really Canadian driven. And I'm always working on something. Like, I got beats that I'm always trying to work on something. I'm in a different zone right now. So, like, we had a meeting last night, and I just kind of told everyone, because they're like, well, what's your angle right now? And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting back to me. I'm focusing on me and my son. That's my angle right now.
Yeah.
But don't think I'm gonna trail away. I'm always writing and I'm always thinking, and I just let me build, and then I'll come at you with a plan. I'm a very organized person. That's why I'm part of the weekly reach out. So shout outs to them. Leslie, Ill Cause, Corey, Fresh Smoke, Stephanie, she kills it, man.
Goalkeeper.
And they're an amazing team.
That's
Your
what's
cousin
up.
is an amazing girl.
Yeah, facts, bro. Now, I got to take off. I got to go pick up my wife. So
For sure.
We'll cut her off here. But where can people get your music? Where do you stream? Are you on Spotify, or is it just YouTube?
There's some Cynical Mind stuff on Spotify. Go check out Ask the Boy Scout. We got Dirty Doc on there.
Cynical Minds. That's with a Z, right? Minds.
Yeah, at the end.
And a K in Cynical.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just so people know how to check it out. And
For
then
sure.
You're all over YouTube as Lexxx Lucifer.
Yeah, 100%. I got some
That's
great
what's up, bro.
songs on there. Go check out my video Snack Child. It's a couple years old, but I mean, I visually murder Snack the Ripper and Mad Child in it, and I pay them nothing. I pay them nothing but homage. It's not a diss track.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to separate myself from what people are trying to put me in a category of.
Word, bro. All right. Well, we'll catch you soon. Peace.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. This is amazing. Anytime
no problem,
you got
brother.
anytime you got something to promote, man, hit me up. Shout out to FUL. Weekly reach out, everyone on FUL. My mom, she'll be watching, and my son.
That's what's up, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Word.
Peace out.
Peace.
Yo, what up? This is My Name is Jump.
Hey, I'm Dylan Bell with Log Files Media.
Yo, this is Lil Turtle.
This is La Sparka.
What's going on? It's your boy Hooper turned singer.
Yo, what's up? This is JML.
This is Natty Snaps.
Yo, it's Kairos on the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
BC Underground Hip Hop.
Listen to BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
Love Force all day, motherfucker.
Turtle Gang.
Kairos season, baby.
Get it because you need it.
Watching this, y'all are my people, bro.
Wow.